Hey guys, welcome to the Web Monkey Show. My name is Alex, and coming up today, if you are an Elementor user, I believe you're going to love today's tutorial because coming up, I'm going to show you how you can make use of a plugin known as Crocoblock to add even more functionality and design to your Elementor website. Now, if you're like me, you probably love using Elementor, but let's be honest, okay? Even though Elementor is great, there are certain kinds of functionality and elements missing even from Elementor Pro, but thankfully Crocoblock is here to save the day. Now, Crocoblock isn't actually one plugin, it's more like a suite of different kinds of plugins which add different kinds of functionality to your Elementor website. So they do have free plugins, they have free widgets and templates which you can download for free, but they've also got paid packages, and depending on the package you pay for, you will get certain kinds of elements. So what I've done in today's tutorial is I have covered very specific elements which you can only find with Crocoblock. So coming up, I'm going to show you how you can do some amazing things like add a mega menu to your Elementor website. I'm going to show you how you can work with hot tips, tooltips, hotspots, how you can add animation and particles to the background of your elements, how you can connect your site to your Instagram account, and so much more. Also, if you've built a WooCommerce store with Elementor, I'm going to show you how you can boost the functionality of your WooCommerce store by making use of the Woo elements available with the Crocoblock plugin. What I've also done is I have added the timestamps in the description box below. So if you're interested in learning how to apply a specific kind of functionality, you can use the timestamps to help you navigate your way through this tutorial because it's quite long. It's over an hour at least. So be sure to make use of the timestamps in the description box below. Also, in full disclosure, I have become an affiliate for Crocoblock because I love their product. I think it's amazing. And I've also been able to get them to offer you guys a very special 10% discount. So if at the end of today's tutorial you feel like, yeah, I love Crocoblock, I want to get me some Crocoblock, you can use my affiliate link in the description box below and then make use of the coupon code I have provided there as well, and you will get 10% discount on whatever package you are paying for. So I'm really excited about today's tutorial. Being an Elementor user, I found Crocoblock to be amazing, and I believe you will also find Crocoblock to be amazing as well. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Alrighty, so the very first plugin we're going to work with would be the Jet Elements plugin, and this is the core plugin for Crocoblock. So please go ahead, download, you can install and activate the plugin. Now once you've done that, all you need to do is to go to Elementor, and then under Elementor you will see the Jet Elements settings. And then under the Jet Element settings, you will see available widgets. This is one feature which I find very, very useful, because what it does is you can decide to switch on or switch off any of these widgets depending on whether you use them or you don't use them. And honestly, I wish this was something that Elementor also had, but you know, they don't at this time. Maybe later in the future they might provide something like this, but I really like this because now you don't have to constantly see the exact same elements or widgets that you never use. You can just come in here, turn them off, and the only elements you'll ever see are the ones that you actually use for building out content. Anyway, let's jump over to the front page and let me show you what I have over here. All right, so just like with normal Elementor, you just go over here, edit with Elementor, you click in there, and then to access these new widgets provided by Crocoblock, you will see it. Let me just close basic, close pro, close general. So over here, you will see Jet Elements. So these are all the available elements that you have with Crocoblock. So what I'm going to do right now is work with the very first element, which is going to be the team member widget or team member element. Now, if you've watched this YouTube tutorial where I built this particular website you're looking at, we built a section here which was the meet the team. Now, building this section was easy, but it also took quite a while because if you notice, we had to add like an image element first of all, and then we had the caption, and then we had to add a text block as well, and it wasn't really the cleanest way of creating this section. So right off the bat, one element that you can use to improve this kind of content would be the team member element. So what I'm going to do right now is let's just go ahead and drag. Let me just close this. Okay, let's drag the team member element down here, paste that. And actually, sorry, before we do that, let's add the inner section. So we have 2 columns. Let me right click and then add a new column. So we now have 3 columns. Okay, let's go back to our elements. Go back to Jet Elements, and then I will drag team member to the very first one. Let's dump that right there. Okay, so you can see right now that with the Crocoblock, we do have access to the team member elements, which provides us all the necessary fields for highlighting members of our staff. First of all, you've got the member image. So I'm going to click in here and I'll choose an image to use. Let's go with this gentleman right here. Insert the media. Okay, so first name. Let's just go with Mike. Last name would be Mike Jones. Although this does not look like a Mike Jones, but whatever. All right, so name HTML tag. We can keep that on H3. Position, we'll just name him the CEO. And then for the description, let's just do this, okay? I'm just gonna jump over here and very quickly I'll just grab what we have in here. Let's just copy that. Let's come back down here. And then where we have description, I'll just go ahead and paste his story. So you can see right now that we also have access to social media icons. So you can add additional ones like LinkedIn, I think would be a really good option to add. So let's just change this to, let's say, we'll go with LinkedIn. Okay, and then let's go in here for the icon. We'll click inside. Let's go to, icon library. Font awesome brands, and let's scroll down. I think LinkedIn should be easy to find. LinkedIn, where are you? I cannot see you. Do you see LinkedIn? Because I don't see LinkedIn. Instagram, JKL. Okay. Oh, there you go. That's LinkedIn. We actually have 2 of them. We can go with this one. Okay. All right. So cool. So we have LinkedIn, and then you can just simply add his actual link to his LinkedIn account and stuff like that. You can also change, of course, with styling. You do have options to style the background, the text. You may notice right now that we can see the name because the name is actually in black. So what we can do is we can simply go to name on the style, just go to name. And now in here you have access to style both the first name and last name. So first name is selected by default. So you can click on color right here and we can go with white. So we've got white, switch to last name, click on color again, and then click on white. So you've got Mike Jones, CEO, and there you go. Just like that, we have our very first team member. There are a few other cool features in here that I want to show you. In addition to also styling the color of your the text for your position, description, social, and so on, you also have this thing known as the action button. Let's go back to content. Actually, let's go back to content. Down in here, you've got the button text. So you can say, for example, something like read more. Okay, so we don't really see it. Let me just add a link right there. Read. Okay, so there you go. So as soon as you add a link right down here on that button link, you will now see this box that says read more. So if you had like individual pages for each of your team members where your audience can read more about them, you have that available for you. So that's another pretty cool feature that you have available with the team member element. What else do we have in here? Description. As always, you can style it out on the general overlays as well. Content order and alignment. Okay, this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. So you can also change the alignment or the order of your content. So as an example, by default, the name comes first and then the position, but you can change this. You can say, okay, let the name come second instead, and then the position will come first. So now you have CEO first, and then you have Mike Jones as the second information, basically, which is the name of the staff member. So you can just go ahead now and update. And there you go. So just like we did over here, You can add the additional team members for Clark Kent, Kelly Jean, and so on. And you can see right now it's so much easier rather than having to, first of all, add in an image element, and then you have to add a text block, and then also add your caption for the image as well. This is, I feel, is a lot easier and a lot cleaner way of adding your team members. Let's talk about the second element, and this is quite possibly one of my favorite additions that Crocoblock offers to Elementor users, and that's going to be the vertical timeline element. Check this out. Okay, I'm going to drag it right here. That's it, vertical timeline. I'll drop that in here, and now take a look at this. By default, you now have access to this wonderful, wonderful board, which you can use to describe maybe the process with which you work with your clients, or maybe describe a story in segments or things like that. Like, there are so many ways how you could make use of this element. It is amazing. In fact, what I'm going to do is, let me just drag this and take it all the way to the top, just above mid the team. Let's dump that right there. Okay, let's try something. Okay, I'm going to go back to my Jet elements, and I will add a header. Where is it? We do have the headline. So you have a headline element as well with Jet elements. Let's drag headline in here. Let's dump that right there. And then I'll just say for the first part, I can say work. And then the second part, I will just change this one to process. So think of it this way, okay? We're trying to describe to our potential clients how we work with them, okay? So for example, right here, where you have the date, we could change this. Oh, let me just do that again. Okay, so let me cancel this. So we could say something like this, like we could say week 1 as an example. And then this one, we can say initiation. Initiation is going to be week 1, where we meet with the clients, we discuss the problems, things like that. And then week 2, let me close this, cancel week 2. So week 2, here's what we do. We now go ahead and we begin to scan. We start to scan the computers and networks for our clients. And then in here, let me just add one more. We have week 3. We then begin with virus prevention or something like that. I'm just making all this up as I'm typing. So, and so on and so forth. So you can clearly describe your work process, or maybe, for example, if you are maybe a blogger, for example, or maybe you're trying to describe a series of events that happened to you within the past 2 months or something like that. You could do that using this particular element. It is a really, really, really wonderful way of describing a process or a story. And then, of course, under the cards, where we have layout, you can animate your cards as well. So you can add like really, really cool animation. Check this out. This is really, 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 really beautiful. I mean, this is just amazing. So you could add your animation. You could change the alignments as well, add some space. And of course, under styling, you can add your borders, change the size of the arrows, maybe make them bigger. As you can see, make them bigger, make them smaller. You can add your image as well. Things like that, like, you know, change the description, change the title, the content, add coloring, padding, box shadows, and so on. So this is a really, really cool element, and one of my favorite additional elements that Crocoblock offers to Elementor users. Now, before I round this up, let me just introduce you to a similar element, but this one is going to be the horizontal timeline. So here it is right here, horizontal timeline. Let me dump that in there. So it's similar to the vertical timeline. The difference, of course, is that this is going to be horizontal. So this is going to be more like in a straight line. So personally, I kind of prefer this vertical timeline. I think it's a neater way of displaying your content, but it's all relative. If you prefer the horizontal timeline, you do have access to that as well. And it's the same options. You add your items, you can change the layout, add your styling, things like that, and so on and so forth. Moving on to our third element, and this is going to involve statistics. And yes, I'm talking about the pie chart element. If there is one area where Elementor is still lacking quite a bit, it has to do with statistics. The only real element that you can maybe try to use to display some form of statistics with Elementor falls under the General tab, and it's the progress bar. You could try in a way to display some statistics using the progress bar, but with Jet Elements, you do have access to the pie chart, which is just a fantastic way of displaying a form of statistics. So let me show you how it works. I'm going to drag pie chart right here, and let's dump that right there at the bottom. All right, so what do we have here? Well, by default, Crocoblock gives you Google, Facebook, and Twitter. What I'm going to do right now is I'll change this to reflect a business which involves hacking. So let's do this. Okay, the very first label, I will change this to malware infection. Okay. Alrighty. Let me just close this, and then the second one right here would be let's go with phishing attacks. If you don't know what a phishing attack is, it's the one where hackers might send you an email with a corrupt link, and then when you click on that link, your computer gets infected. So that's your free cybersecurity training for the day. Okay, so we got phishing attacks, malware infection, and then the last label in here, let me just go with brute force attacks. Okay, so what I'm trying to demonstrate here would be like a statistic involving the three major kinds of attacks against companies and the computers. So we've got malware infection, phishing attacks, and of course brute force attacks. So by default, we do have the values in here. Malware is set to 50, but of course we can bring this down to, let's say, 40. Phishing attacks is usually a lot higher, so let's go all the way up to 60. And then, of course, brute force attacks, we can bring this one down to, let's say, 25 or just something like that. And, of course, you can change the color as well. But what else do we have in here? We do have the chart title. So let's say we can talk about the, give it a title. We can say rate of attacks. Okay. And then, of course, you can change the position. Maybe you want to display it before the chat. So I have it right there, rate of attacks, malware infection, phishing attacks, brute force attacks. And then on the settings, check this out. You can increase the chart height, make it a lot bigger, but be careful because this gets really big. So you can see right now it's on 855, and well, there you go. It's it's really big. So let me just cancel this and go with the default. There is also this neat little feature known as the cutout percentage. Check this out and tell me the very first thing that comes to your mind when you see this. Alright, so what comes to your mind? If you said donut, well, congratulations, that's exactly what I thought you would say. If it's something else, well, maybe a disc. It could be maybe a disc, but if you love food, well, donuts will probably have been the first thing that came to your mind. So this kind of looks like a donut. Okay, I think this one now starts to look more like a donut, you know, but it can also look like a disc as well, I guess. Anyway, you've got this cool feature available for you, and of course, when you hover over each section, you have the legend being displayed. You can also animate the scale as well, which is, again, fantastic. And of course, you've got different kinds of animations in here. You've got the ease in circ, which is the one I like. I like this one. It's very like, whoa, look at that. And you can also, of course, change the duration. So the bigger this value right here, the longer it will take to display. So right there, it's going to take quite a while to display. That's a bit too long. Let's take this back. Okay. So there you go. So you can change the animation, add a delay. And of course, with the legend, of course, you can also change the position. Maybe go to the left, and then you have it right there. You can go to the bottom, the right. You can also add this thing known as the reverse, where they will be displayed in reverse order. So that's entirely up to you. And of course, under style, you can change the border width. You can change your title, the color, typography, the legends as well. You can make the boxes wider, bigger, anything to make your site look nicer, I guess. The font size is available for you to change as well. Make it bigger so that people can actually read what they're looking at, and so on and so forth. But I think this is a really cool way of displaying a particular kind of statistic on your website. Since we've just finished talking about the pie chart element, which is a circular element, let's take a look at a second circular element, which is going to be the circle progress element. But before we do that, let me go ahead and add an intersection. So we have two columns. Let's drop that down here. So we've got our two columns. Now let's go back to our circle progress. So in here, it's right there next to countdown timer. I'll click, drag, drop inside my very first column. So take a look at this. Okay, you can use this element to display some form of statistic or some information in a pretty cool manner. So what I'm going to do right here is to display the fact that many websites have been hacked today. So that's why you want to engage us. That's why you want us to come and protect you from cyber criminals. So let's do this, okay? I'm going to change the progress values type to absolute in this case. Current value, I'll go with something pretty high. I'll say 4,358 out of 10,000. Okay, make sure this value right here, your max value is set to something reasonable. For the content, take a look at this. Okay, I'm gonna remove the suffix because we're not dealing in percentages. So we have that one right there. And then the counter title, I will now say number of websites hacked today, 4,358. And then the counter subtitle, I will now say don't be one of them. There you go. And of course, you can choose to display your percentage or your label outside of the circle, and then you can choose to display your information inside of the circle if you wanted to. If you're going to display your information inside of your circle, make sure the circle is big enough to accommodate the text. And of course, you can do that under settings. In here, you've got the circle size. So you can simply increase the value in here, go something a lot higher to like 339. And there you go. Now, take a look at this, okay? The value stroke color, I'm going to change it from blue to red because this is, of course, a damning statistic. Okay, we're talking about number of sites being hacked. So we're going to go with red. Now, take a look at this, okay? Where you have your value stroke width, you can increase this to something like 65. And now look at that. It now looks bolder. It grabs the attention of your potential client saying that, hey, look, these are the number of websites that have been hacked today, 4,358. Okay, what I will do right here is I'll just go ahead and copy this column. Let me go over here and I'll just paste the column. Let me just delete this one. Okay, so for the second column, check this out, okay? Current value, I'll go with 0. Content, I'll say number of our websites hacked today is 0. And of course, with the kind of subtitle, join us. So this is a pretty cool way of displaying two forms of statistic. Okay, maybe on the left side, you've got something pretty bad, something pretty damning. And then on the right side, you've got something more positive. So this is one way how you can make use of the circle progress element provided by the Crocoblock plugin for Elementor users. So let's talk about the very next element, and that's going to be an element that exists with Elementor Pro, and that is the animated headline. You do have access to it with Elementor Pro. However, with Jet Elements, you do have access to a similar element which is a little bit different, and that is, of course, the animated text element. So let's drag this in here and let me show you how this one works. So as usual, just like with the one for Elementor Pro, you have your before text and then you have your after text. So let's say something like we, and then after text would be for breakfast, and then the animated text, I'll just say in here, let's say text would be we eat hackers for breakfast. And let me delete the second one. Okay, so there you go. We eat hackers for breakfast. So one new feature that you have with this particular element, which doesn't exist with the animated headline, is you can change the text direction from left to right to our right to left. So it's a pretty cool, little neat feature which you might want to check out. Under settings, of course, you can change the animation effect. So you've got joke, you've got rotation fall, you've got your label, and of course you've got your anime as well. And of course you can add some delay, make it take a little bit longer. Let's go really long. Okay, so we eat hackers for breakfast. So just a few slight additional features available with the Jet element animated text element. Under styling, of course, you can change the animated text, the color for it, change the color, the typography for the after text, before text, and so on and so forth. So a very simple element which you might prefer to the animated headline for Elementor. Alrighty, the next element I would like to talk about is going to be the drop bar element, and it's right here next to the download button. So let's drag and drop this in here. So the way this works is it's a pretty interesting way of displaying content. Until a user hovers on the title, the content will not be displayed. So when they hover over your title, then the content will now be displayed in a drop-down box. So let's do this. Okay, I'm going to change the text from drop bar to, let's say, something like fact 1. Before icon, I am going to add a bell as our icon. And then for the simple text, I will say 43% of companies are hacked every day, just as an example. For the content type, you can actually switch from a simple text to a template, which is just amazing. So you simply choose which template you want to display, and the drop bar element will display it for you. You can add an after icon, change your alignment as well. But then on the settings, you have access to the mode. So you can switch from hover to click. So until the user actually clicks on the title, the content will not be displayed. And of course, you can also switch the position from bottom left to bottom center, bottom right. You can go with top right as well, or top center. And then you can also increase your offset. So this will push the position of the box depending on the position that you've gone with. You can also add the width as well, increase the width. The show effect, you can go with the like slide up or slide right as an example. Like you can add some animation. You've also got the fixed layout as well, where your drop bar will be displayed in a particular position at all times. In this case right now it's top left, so you can see it right here, it's top left. Or you can go with like bottom right, so now it will always be at the bottom right hand corner of your website. So that's an additional feature that you have available for you. And of course you've got access to your style and of course your usual advanced settings as well. So that's it for the drop bar element. Alrighty, the last element I want to talk about with the Jet elements is going to be the scroll navigation element, and this is a very cool element. Now, when I built this site you're looking at, the tutorial is available on YouTube. If you haven't watched it, please go ahead and watch it. I created something known as anchor links. So the way anchor links works is like this. Okay, you can see the menu right here. If anyone clicks on, let's say, the team, the anchor link will take them straight down here to the Meet the Team section. If they clicked on contact as well, it will take them straight down to the contact section for the website. So that's anchor links in action. Now, to create an anchor link, you would need to add this menu anchor and then add an ID for that particular anchor, and then link this ID to the menu, to your main menu rather. So with the scroll navigation element with Crocoblock, you can do something similar, but in a very interesting way. So check this out, okay? I'm going to go to my elements, and right in here, we do have the scroll navigation element right here. Let's drag, drop that, and okay, so immediately you now see 3 orange circles, but let's do this. Section 1 right here, I'm going to change the label to the team, and then the section ID I believe was the dash team. Let's add another section. Section 2 in this case would be clients, and the ID was also clients, I believe. And then section 3, let's go with contact. Change the label to contact, and then the section ID was also contact as well. Okay, so check this out. All right, if I scroll to the top, automatically the scroll navigation element will display the very first anchor we have, which is the team. Now if we scroll down, we keep on scrolling down. Okay, so this is mid the team. We keep scrolling down. Now it changes to clients, telling us that okay, you're now in the client section. We scroll down and now it has switched to the contact section. However, if I clicked on the orange circle for clients, it takes us straight to clients. I click on the next one, it takes us to the team. So it works as anchor links as well. Now, if I come back down here under settings, you can change the position from right to left if you wanted to. I will stick with right. You can also change the scroll speed. So let's go all the way to 1500. So this will take a little bit longer for the scroll to work, but you can see it's a lot smoother. So you can tweak this to your heart's content. You have the scroll offset as well. You've got your section switch available as well. And then under the hint, you can decide to show active hint or show the hint on hover. So until the user actually hovers over the button, that's when they will now see the actual section associated with that particular circle. So it's a pretty cool way of displaying anchor links on your website. And of course, under style, you can change your background type, the dots as well. Of course, you can change the dot style. You can change the size, the box size. You can change the color, the inverted style, the hover style, active style. You can change the style, add some padding. Same goes with the hint as well, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much how to use the scroll navigation element with the Jet Elements plugin. Alrighty, before we round up the Jet Elements, let's talk about one more element available, and that is going to be Instagram. Now, with Elementor Pro, the only social media elements you have are typically the share buttons. You have the Facebook like button, Facebook comments, Facebook embed, and then Facebook page. You don't really have anything on the Instagram. So with Crocoblock and with the Jet element specifically, you do have access to this element just simply called Instagram. So let me show you how this would work. Basically, before you can actually use the Instagram element, you would need to get something known as an API key from Instagram. Now, let me show you exactly how you're going to do this. If you go to Elementor and then on the Elementor, you click on Jet Elements Settings, and then from here you go to Integrations. Over here, right down here, you will see Instagram, and then you'll see the access token. Sorry, not an API key, but rather access token. I've been dealing too much with API keys this past few days. You need something known as an access token. Now, I already have my token, and I don't want to spend time walking you through how you can get it, because right here, you will see these two links on how you can actually get this from Instagram. These are very detailed explanations. It's very, very easy. Basically, you sign in as a developer, you register a new client ID, and then you get the access token. If this doesn't work out for you, there's another link right here, the second one, which again shows you a slightly different way of getting your access token. Again, you shouldn't have too much trouble getting the access token from Instagram. Now, I already do have my access token, and I'm going to go ahead now and paste it. Okay. All right. So you can see settings have been saved. Now let's go back to my front page. So over here right now, I'm going to go to my elements, and then I'm going to go ahead and drag the Instagram element down here. Let's drop that right there. Okay. So right off the bat, you can decide to choose to display either your tagged photos or simply my photos. I don't have any tagged photos on Instagram, but I do have lots of photos. And there you go. Yes, that is me right there. So you can see these are my photos. Let me show a little bit more. Let's go all the way to 12. Let me show you how wonderful my Instagram is. Okay, these two haven't showed up yet. They will show up in just a moment. But so basically, that's how you can get Instagram photos on your Elementor website. So again, you do have the cache timeout as well. You can choose just how frequent you want to cloud the images. Photo size, you got the high, original, standard, number of Instagram posts, and then you can enable linking photos, you can change the caption length and so on. Layout settings as well. You can choose to either go with a masonry, grid, or list. Personally, I wouldn't recommend list unless your photos are designed to fit into this style, but you can see right now it's not the best. I think you should either go with just masonry or grid. So there it is. That's basically how to just display Instagram photos on your Elementor website. And of course, you will have access to your styling, the advanced, and so on and so forth. And by the way, I don't know if I've ever mentioned my Instagram page. Basically, I travel the world quite a lot. I've been to about 19 countries now. So basically, I post photographs. These were taken in Argentina, for example. This was in Uruguay. All this is Argentina. This was in Brazil, and so on. So I don't know if you're interested. If you enjoy seeing pictures from around the world, be sure to follow me on Instagram. Basically, it's Xander_Oni. So that's it for Instagram. Let's move on now to a new plugin entirely. Alrighty, let's move on to the next plugin, and that's going to be the Jetblog plugin. Now, over here, you're going to have access to a variety of different kinds of elements. You have the video playlist, post pagination, navigation, your text ticker, smart post listing, and of course the smart post tiles as well. So let's take a quick look. I have already installed, I have activated the plugin. You can see right now under Elementor, you will see Jetblog settings. Now I have also gotten my YouTube API key, which, well, you can see right now, but we will talk about this key in just a moment. Let me just go ahead, save this, and go straight to our front page. All right, so let's go to Edit with Elementor, and let me show you how you can make use of some of the elements under the Jetblog plugin. Let's go all the way down here. Let me just close my Instagram element. All right, let's go to Jet Elements. Now, on the Jet Elements, you will see the new elements such as the post navigation, pagination, and so on. So let's start off first with the Smart Posts list. Now, Elementor Pro already does a pretty decent job of being able to display your post. You do have the post element right here, and you have a variety of ways how you can display those posts. However, Jet Elements takes this particular element one step further, because with the Smart Post list, you can display your blog posts in very, very creative ways. So as an example right now, by default in here, you do have 3 posts. You can't really see this very well. Let me just quickly change the background of this section from black to white so we can actually see what's going on. Okay, that's better. All right, let's go back to our element. So by default right now, Jetblog is displaying our top 3 posts. In fact, I only have 3 posts on this sample website. But you can see right now we do have the featured image, or rather the featured post with the big featured image. We do have the title. And then to the right, we do have the 2 other posts. Of course, you can customize this to look way better. First of all, we do have the featured post position. You can switch this to the right if you wanted to, or you can switch it to the top as well. But personally, I think left is better for stuff like this. And now in here, you can change the post accept length. So you can go all the way to 40 as an example. So in there, you now have more text available for people to read. You can turn on the post meta, or you can turn it off if you wanted to. It's all up to you. I would recommend you turn it on actually. But then like the show post author, I'll turn that off. The comments, I'll turn that off as well. The show post author, I'm going to turn that off. So we only have the title of the post and then the accept itself. Let's scroll further down. Now, just as a tip, the post image size, always set this to full. I don't know if you can notice this, but the image that I have in here are blurred. You can tell, especially with the mobile phone right there, it's blurred because the image size is set to thumbnail. Set this to full and the image will no longer be blurred. You can see right now it's looking much sharper. So that's just a very quick tip for you. So over here right now, you will have the ability to also modify the accept available for your 2 other posts. In here right now, I'm going to go all the way to 30, give it some more text. So there you go. Right now we have more text. And then of course you can choose to show your post meta, all these available options for you. You might notice a slight spacing issue with the date under the title of the post. You can simply just close the date icon right here, just cancel that, and you will no longer have that issue. That's just something I wanted to point out to you. Or you can always choose to display an icon, but keep in mind that the background here is white. So if you choose an icon that is very light, you might not actually see the icon popping up unless you change the color of your backgrounds, of your section's background rather. Okay, over here under query and controls, you can choose whether or not you want to display posts or pages, or if you have any other custom post types in there. You can also generate a custom query if you wanted to. Of course, you can get your post directly from a particular category or particular tags or IDs. You can filter by your custom field, by terms, paging control. You can also work with custom fields as well. And of course, you have access to the styling, advanced, and so on. Okay, let me just go ahead and close this section. Let's go back to our elements. Let's now go over to the smart posts tiles, which is very interesting. I'm going to drag that, drop that in here. So right here, you can see that we have different kinds of layouts for our posts. Now, unfortunately, I only have 3 posts available on this particular website, so I can't really demonstrate how all of this would work out, but you can see right there, you have the first one, layout 1, that has 5 posts. The next one has 4 posts. The next one has 4 posts as well, and so on. So there's some really creative ways how you can display your blog posts using this particular element. If you have a blog, lots of blog posts, I'd recommend you check out this particular element. Of course, you can increase the medium height, the main box width, show your post terms, change the accept length, and so on. Pretty much all of these features you already are familiar with. And of course, you've got query and controls. Again, you can choose what post type you want to display, whether from a particular category or from you want to use particular IDs, tags, and so on and so forth. So please, if you do have lots of blog posts, I would highly recommend that you check out the smart post tiles. It's a very creative way of displaying your posts. And of course, you've got post pagination and you do have post navigation, which are already available with the Elementor Pro. But hey, you can definitely check this out as well. All right, we've got a text ticker. Let me just drag that and show you how this one works. It's very simple. You can add your title. You can show the current date. What this simply does is that it will display the titles of your blog post in a very creative manner. So right now you can see we have the first one, the art of the hacker, and then if a user clicks on the next button, it will show the next post title. So here you have mobile cybersecurity, the next title, what is phishing, and so on. So it's a very creative way of displaying the titles for your post, or in fact any kind of text. And of course, in here, you do have the ability to customize as usual. You can show the post thumbnail, increase the size, decide to whether or not you want to show them on mobile view, on tablet view. You do have your slider settings in here as well. What kind of effect do you want? Do you want to keep this effect, or would you like to just turn off the effect as it is? You can type in the cursor character, which is underscore right here by default, or you can go with like the normal dash. So this will change the way the text is actually written. So if I click on arrow right now, you can see right now it's changed. Let's try a different symbol. Let's go with @ as an example. Now look at the text over here. And there you go. You can see at is being used to write the text and so on. So again, feel free to play around with all these options. You've got your styling, advanced as usual. All right, let me go ahead and close this, and let's take a look at the final element on the Jetblog. And this is going to be the video playlist. Excellent element. If you've ever wanted to display a video playlist either from YouTube or from your media library, this is the element for you. Simply drag, drop inside. Now remember that I already showed you that I already got my YouTube API key. Basically, if you go to Elementor and then under the Elementor, you click on the Jetblog settings. Right here, you do have the space where you can add your YouTube API key. And again, if you don't know how to get your API key, you do have a link right here. It's very extensive. It's very simple to get your YouTube API key. Once you've gotten it, just paste it in here, click on save, and then go back to your page, go to your elements, drag the video playlist like we did right here, and then under the content, you can choose to either display a custom video list, or you can go with your YouTube channel or playlist. Now I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna get my YouTube channel's URL. And okay, so this is my URL right here. I'm gonna copy that. Let's go back to our page. I'm going to paste URL. And let's wait for a second. And there you go. You can see right now I've got my playlist right there. Number of videos. Let's bring this down to 5. Okay, that's for items. And then on the settings, you can really customize how this section is going to look like. The playlist height, I would recommend you go a little bit small. Just go with like 150. And then for the orientation, rather than vertical, I would recommend you go with horizontal. But again, it all depends on how your website is configured. What else do we have in here? We've got the thumbnails position. I will go with top instead. Playlist height. In fact, you could just remove this and let the plugin decide for itself what's best for the height for your playlist. Show thumbnails heading, yes or no. Again, it's up to you. I'll recommend you show it. I think it actually looks better this way. You can change the heading text, the icon, show item number and status. I will turn that off. Show item duration. I'll turn that one off as well. And so on. Again, you can also increase the thumbnail column width, make it a little bit wider, try to cover up as much space as possible. So let's just update this. Okay, and let's see how this actually looks like on the front page. Let's go back in here. Let's view the page. Let's scroll all the way down. And there you go. So now the user can scroll in here and take a look at our complete video playlist. Pretty awesome, right? So that's pretty much it for the 5 or 6 major elements under the JetBlog plugin. Let's now move on to the very next plugin. Alrighty, so welcome to the next plugin we'll be taking a look at, and that is going to be the JetTricks. Quite possibly my favorite plugin in the entire Crocoblock arsenal. And why? Well, simply because with this plugin, you can take animation on your Elementor website to a whole new level. Now, Elementor Pro by default already does a fairly decent job of being able to add different kinds of animations, but with JetTricks, oh boy, I tell you, you're gonna love some of the things we're gonna do with this fantastic plugin. By the way, if you're only interested in JetTricks, you can actually get it for just $15. So I'm just putting that out there for you to know. Now, if you decide to get the plugin and you've activated the plugin, just like with the JetBlog plugin and the Jet Elements plugin, you will find the JetTricks settings under Elementor. Now in here, I wanted to talk about this because it's very, very important. Under General, you do have access to the editor load level. Now the reason why this is important is because now that you're dealing with animations, which naturally tend to reduce the speed of your website just a little bit, if you notice like a huge difference in your editor speed, your editor performance, in here, you can reduce the load level. So mine by default is set to full, but if you're noticing performance issues on your website, you can bring this down to advanced. You have medium, you have low, and then you have none basically. So be sure to check out these options just in case you're having performance issues. And of course, available widgets, you can uncheck any of these. We will take a look at all these in just a moment, and then the extensions as well. So if there are any of these extensions you end up not using, I would highly recommend you come in here and you uncheck the boxes. Okay, well, let's go to our front page and let's get started with the JetTricks plugin. Let's go with Edit with Elementor. And the very first element we're going to talk about will be the fold and the unfold element. I think you're going to love this one. Let's go all the way down here to Jet Elements. Scroll all the way down. Okay, take a look at this, all right? I'm going to start off first with the unfold element. So what this does is that it allows you to display a certain amount of text first. And then in order for the user to read the rest of the text, they'll have to click on a button to show the rest of the text. So as an example, let's just drag and drop this in here. So by default right now, you can see that we do have some text in here. And then you have the button here that says show. And then when the user clicks on show, the rest of the text is displayed. That is the idea behind the unfold element. So in here, settings, fold, yes, we want to set this to yes. And then in here for the close height, this will determine how much text is initially displayed. So by default right now, you can see we do have 2 lines of text set at 50 pixels. But if I bring this down all the way to, let's say, 25 as an example, now you can see it's set to only 1 line of text. If we take this up just a little bit more to like 27 as an example, let's go maybe 29. Oh, okay, maybe a little bit more. Let's go with 32. Okay, so now you can see that the text from the second line is starting to show just a little bit. Let's go to 34 so you can see it even better. Okay, so now you can see that the text from the second line is now starting to show. So basically, whatever you set here for your close height will determine how much text is initially shown. You've got your separator height as well, which will determine the difference in height between the fold and the unfold text. And then the state styles. Unfold, right now, you can set the duration for the text to be unfolded. The default is 500, but if we take this all the way to like 1,800, right now, if I click on the hide button, right now, if I click on hide, you can see right now it takes much longer for the text to fold, and then to unfold rather, and then the fold, you can take this up to, let's go with 2,600. All right, so I click on hide, you can see it takes quite a bit of time, and then to show takes a little bit less because the fold is set to 2,600 and then the unfold is set to 1,800. The ease in animation as well, you can switch between the unfold and fold. So let's go first of all with the fold. It's folded right now. So for unfold, let's switch the animation here to in, out, back as an example. So let's first of all fold, and now let's unfold. And now you can see the change in the animation. So you can do the exact same thing for your fold. For the easing, you can go with scene, linear, expose, circ, and so on and so forth. And then the content section. In here, this is where you can add the real text that you want to display. And then button, of course, you can change the alignment, go with left, right, center. And then the fold and unfold icons, you can change them. So fold, for example, right now you can switch from the chevron down to something different. Same goes with the unfold as well. You can change the unfold text, the fold text. And then style, of course, you have the ability to change the background colors for your wrappers, your state styles as well, the separator, the content, the button, all that available for you. So that's how to make use of the unfold element with the JetTricks plugin. Let's move on to our very next trick, and I honestly believe you're going to love this one because this is pretty cool. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can display particles and the background of your sections or columns. So let's do this. Okay, let's do this together. From here, I'm going to click on the plus button to add a new section, and then I'll simply add the one column section, and we'll make some changes in here. First of all, on the layout, let us stretch the section, change the content width from box to full width, and then for the height, we'll set this to a minimum height of, let's say 600. Okay, let's go ahead and update. First of all, and then from here, let's go to advanced. Keep in mind, we're still under the section, the edit section. Let's go to advanced. And then in here, you will see JetTricks. Go ahead and enable particles on the JetTricks. And then in here, click on the link here that says generate the JSON code from here. Click on here, and this will take you to a fantastic website. In fact, I can't even really call this a website. This is more like a tool, more like a web tool where you can generate amazing particles for your backgrounds. So by default, we do have this kind of shape with the circle, kind of like a hex diagonal structure thing. Like, I don't really know how to explain this, but we also have like the red background as well. But in here, this is where you can modify exactly what you're seeing there in the background. So let's go with particles. First of all, on the particles, you have access to a variety of values, starting off with the number. So you can increase the number of particles that we have. So you can see right now there's a lot more. And then you have the density value area. The greater the area, the less of the particles you will see, because now you're increasing the area within which they can move around. So the bigger the area, the more space they have to move around. So if you reduce the value here, you will begin to see more of the particles. So let's go with something a bit moderate like that. Okay, so that's for number. And then on the color, you can change the color of the string itself. So by default, we have white, but we can go with a different kind of color. Let's go with like blue. So now you can see the circles have been set to blue. The shape as well, you can change the stroke width, make the circles a little bit thicker. You can change the stroke color. And then the polygon, you can increase or change the sides, basically add more sides to the polygon. Oh, that's what you call them, polygons. Okay, not diagonal something. It's called polygon. Okay. All right. And now in here for the image, you can actually upload your own custom image. But before we do this, let's just play around with the default image that's been provided to us. You can also change the type from circle to like a triangle, for example. So now you can see from circle, we have triangle, or we also have star, we have edge. We'll just stick with edge for now. And then on the size, of course, you can make the edges really big, or you can make them really small if you wanted to. Let's just stick with that one for now. And then you have animation as well. So you can increase the animation speeds, values for the animation synchronization as well. Different values you can play around with over here. Pretty cool. Let's close that one. And then opacity. Do you want to make it opaque so they're like kind of like transparent? You can reduce that. Pretty cool. Or you can make them like really, really, really bold so you see the actual color of your circles. Let's close this opacity. And then the line length as well. Again, you have different ways of playing around with what you're going to have here in the background. Some of these I don't even know how to explain them. You can see right now we do have something that looks like a spider web. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, you might like that one. And then the direction, this is actually pretty cool. So how do you want to move the particles? You can go like top right, so they're going top right. Maybe they're going bottom right instead. Or you can simply make it random. You can make them go in a straight line. Different kinds of animations you can generate in here. It's utterly amazing. Whoever designed this tool, I give you props. Honestly, people like this deserve a lot of praise because this is just freaking amazing. All right, interactivity as well. So what would you like to happen when you hover over the images? You can change the mode from ripples to bubble, for example. So you can see right now it's like blah, 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 like, you know, it's all bubbling when you hover over them. Same goes with the on-click modes and so on. I could spend a whole hour just walking you through all these options, but to save time, well, we'll just go ahead right now and simply generate our code. We'll just go ahead and display this as it is. So to generate the code, all we need to do right now is just click on download current config. You click on that button right there, and this will give you access to the code. Now to read the code, what you want to do is you can simply click on open, but then if you discover that, hey, you can't actually open this, what you can simply do is you open the code using a regular text editor. And here it is. So I've opened the code using just regular Notepad. So here is the code right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this right now. Let's copy that. And now let's go to Elementor. Let's go ahead and paste the code right here. Click on update. And let's see some magic happen. Let's go ahead now and view this on the front page. Let me just open this, go to the front page. Let's scroll all the way down here and voila, check that out. This is utterly amazing, right? This is freaking amazing. You click on them, wow, look at that. Awesome. Before I round this up, let me just show you one quick trick. Now, remember when I was talking about the image source, or we can actually use our own custom image. So to do this, let's go back to our media library and let's just choose an image to use. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use this guy. This guy actually looks very creepy. Maybe this is not the right image to use. Anyway, let's just go ahead and use the image. I'll just copy the link and let's see how this is gonna look like. Let's go to shape. So on the shape where you have image, I'm going to change the source right now. I'll paste the link right there and then make sure that your type here on the image is set to image. So now you can see this James Bond villain lookalike in the background. Let's play around with some of these values. The size, let's make this a little bit bigger. Oh my, this is creepy. Ooh, okay, well, let's change the direction for the movement as well. Right, left, maybe top instead. Okay, let's try with the top instead, I guess. Okay, that's enough playing around. Let's just go ahead and generate this code and let's see how this is going to look like. I'm just going to go ahead and open the text right here. Let's just copy. And then let's go back to our Elementor. Let's go back to our section, go to Advanced, JetTricks, and we'll just go ahead and paste the new code in there. Let's go ahead and update and let us see some magic. Let's go back in here, refresh, and there you go. Oh boy, this is creepy. This guy looks very creepy and evil. But well, there you go. This is how you can add particles to the background. So I know from a realistic standpoint, this isn't exactly the best example to use. Typically, you might want to use particles when you're trying to be very creative, and maybe you want to add some particles to blend in with your text or something like that. So ideally, you might want to go with something more traditional, with like maybe the circle or something that comes with the actual tool itself, as opposed to using maybe like one of your custom images. It all depends. It all depends on exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish with this particular tool. But that's how to add particles to the backgrounds of your section. I hope you enjoyed it. Now let's move on to the very next element. All right, so the next function I want to talk about will be the satellite function. And with this function, you can display either a text, an icon, or an image anywhere on your widgets. So as an example, let's go ahead and choose one widget. Let's go with what is WHH as an example. So I'm going to click on the edit element, and then from here, we'll go to advanced, and then under advanced, you will see JetTricks. Let's click on JetTricks, and then we'll enable the use of satellite. So take a look at this, okay? On the settings, we can choose to display either a text, icon, or an image. Let's go with icon. And I do have the Cora icon right here. Let's go ahead and choose that one. Now, if you don't see the icon being displayed right here from the edit view, what you can do is you can simply just go ahead and update as an example. Okay, and then if you refresh this page again, you should now see the icon being displayed. Let's scroll down, and there you go. So now we have the icon right there. So just in case you're having this little issue, just save your work, refresh, and then you should see the icon displaying. Let's go back to editing the widget. So Jet Advanced, JetTricks, all right, satellite. So we've chosen the icon. You can also switch the position from top left to top center, top right. And now in here, this is where you can get very specific with where you want to display the icon. The offset and the horizontal offset and the vertical offset are set to 0, but you can increase this, for example, and now you can see we're changing the position of the icon horizontally, and then same goes with the Y offset as well. You can see we can change the position, so you can display icons or text or images anywhere you want on a particular widget. And then you can also rotate the icon if you want to. You can see, you could check that out. Pretty cool, right? So that's for the settings. And then on the styles, of course, you can also play around with the icon box. You can play around with the CSS filters. If you're using text, you can change the font color, change the font size as well. Add some CSS filters, make the icons very bright, or add some saturation. You have all these features available for you using the satellite function. Let's take a look at the final element available with the JetTricks plugin, and that is going to be the hotspots element. So what exactly does this element do? Well, I'm going to show you. Let's go ahead and drag the element inside our section. We'll go ahead and choose an image. I'll go with the I was hacked image. Let's insert that in there. Okay, so the whole idea behind a hotspot is that you can add links, text, tips directly on your image. So right now we have the I was hacked, and then under hotspots, item 1, I can add a text, and I can say something like find out how. Okay, and then for the description, I can say something like it doesn't take much to get hacked these days. Okay, so right now anyone looking at this will understand that, okay, I'm trying to tell them how I was hacked and why it's very easy for people to get hacked these days. So that's the whole idea behind using the hotspot. And then in here, you can add the link. So maybe you have a blog post in your website and you want to link people to that blog post. You can get very creative. You can add an image, give like a small teaser saying something like, okay, you know, this is what happened. Click here to find out more. And that's exactly how you can make use of the hotspot. Now, before I switch to the tooltip, where you have content, if you go to position, you can change the position of your particular hotspot. So as an example, you know, you can shift that up there to the right or to the left and so on. Okay, that's for the hotspot. Now, tooltip. What does this do? Well, with this, you can actually change the position of your hotspot. So first of all, click on the show on init, and then the placement you have top, but you can go with bottom as an example. Okay, so now you're switching the position of the actual tooltip itself. You can go to the right, so now you can see it's now over there on the right. You can use an arrow or not. You can change the direction or rather the type of the arrow. So you have round, and then you have sharp, the arrow size, and then you have the trigger as well. So by default, it's set to mouse enter. You can switch to click. So it's only until the user actually clicks on the hotspot that's when the tooltip will now show. You can of course also change your duration, your delay, animation, and so on. So that's how you can use the hotspots and the tooltip. Now, before I round this up, note that if I go directly to the element right here and I go to advanced, okay, I go to advanced, and then under advanced, if I go to JetTricks, you will see that I have the option for the tooltip as well. Note that this is available on every single widget, not just the hotspot widget itself. So in fact, just as an example, let's demonstrate this up here instead under our clients as an example, okay? So if I click on the edit widget, let's go to advanced, let's go to JetTricks. So in here right now, you can see we have the tooltip. So I can turn this on, and then again, I can simply type in a description of some text, and then the position, I can go with top, let's go with bottom instead. Let's go to style. I'm going to change the text color to red so you can see this. Let's just go ahead and update this. And then what I'll do is I'll refresh the page so you can see what we've just done. Come on, let's go. Refresh. Let's scroll down. Okay, and there you go. So now you can see we have the text right there. And that is how you can make use of the tooltips on your widgets. So that's it for the hotspots and the tooltips elements with the JetTricks plugin. I hope you enjoyed this particular section. Let's now move on to the very next plugin. Let's move on to the very next plugin, and this is going to be the Jetmenu plugin, with which you can create some really amazing mega menus with Elementor. One main element missing from Elementor Pro is the mega menu. You cannot create a mega menu by default with Elementor Pro, but thankfully with Jetmenu you can do this. Now Jetmenu is also sold separately, so if you're not interested in getting like the whole Crocoblock Jet Elements package, you can just go directly for the Jetmenu. It costs $15, so it's very, very cheap. But what I'm going to do right now is to demonstrate how you can use this plugin to build really cool mega menus on your Elementor website. Now, I will be using a different website now. This is the store.coolonlineincome.com. This is a WooCommerce store I built a few months ago using Elementor and WooCommerce. I do have the full tutorial on YouTube, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. But let's do this, okay? I have already installed, and of course I have activated the Jetmenu plugin on my website. Now from the back end, if I scroll down, you will see Jetmenu over here. That tells you that indeed I have installed the Jetmenu. So to create a mega menu, it's quite easy. Let's go to appearance. We'll go to menus. All right. Now, make sure that this section right here is turned on, which is the enable Jetmenu for current location. Turn this on, click on save, first of all. And now in here for my main menu, let's turn the shop menu item into a mega menu on its own. So I'm going to click on the Jetmenu gear button right there. Just click in there. And now in here, what I will do is I'm going to turn the mega submenu enabled on. And then I'm going to click on edit mega menu item content. What this does is it will open up Elementor for you, and you can add any kind of content that you want. As an example, let's do this, okay? I'm going to drag the text editor and I'll drop that in here. And then under the text editor itself, let's use a WooCommerce shortcode, which is basically our products. So this will display all the products on our mega menu. Let's go ahead and hit update. Now check this out, okay? I'm going to click outside. I'm going to go back to the shop menu item, and then I'm going to click on this green save button here. I have noticed a few issues if you don't do this way, so please just follow this approach. Save right there first, and then click outside and then hit save menu now. So you have to click on the green save button and then the blue save menu button. Okay. If we go to our front end now and I refresh, let's just refresh this page. If I move over to shop, you will notice nothing is happening, and that's because we actually need to use the Jetmenu element in order to display our mega menu. So how do we do this? I'm going to go with edit with Elementor, and I will edit the global header, which is where my menu is located. All right, so in here where you have the elements, down here you will see the jet elements, and then you will see mega menu. You also have the vertical mega menu. The only difference is vertical will display your menu items in the vertical order. I prefer the regular mega menu, so I'll use the mega menu element, and I'm going to drop that just underneath the main menu we created with Elementor Pro. Drop that in there, and then I'm going to select my main menu right here. And now if I hover on the shop, take a look at that. Now we have all our menu items being displayed under the shop menu item. In fact, let's just go ahead and update this. And let's take a look at the actual front end directly. So let's see this. Okay, so there you go, right? If I hover on the shop, you can see right now we have all our shopping items being displayed. So this is one way how you can create a mega menu. However, if you wanted to create something a little bit different with like several columns, we can also do that. So check this out. Okay, I'm going to go back to menus. Let's go back to shop, and we'll go ahead and edit the mega menu item content. So rather than displaying our products, I'm going to go ahead and close this. Now check this out. Like, I'm going to drag the intersection element, drop that in there. And then what I'll do is, let's go ahead and create, let's say 4 columns. All right. So I'm just going to right click in here. We'll add a new column, right click, add another column. So we have 4 columns in the very first row. And then I'll simply go ahead right now and repeat the process. Let's drag another intersection, drop that underneath in here, right click, add a new column, right click, and just add a new column. Okay, check this out. Now we have basically 4 columns and 2 rows. So basically, for the very first column, I'm going to click in there. And what I'll do in here is I'm going to drag an image inside this very first column. Let's choose one of our images in here. Let's go with the green t-shirt. Let's insert the media right there. For the image size, make sure this is set to full. If you discover that your own image is blurred, just set it to full. And then beside it, I'm going to go ahead and drop the text editor right there. So this can be like a description of this particular t-shirt. We'll do the exact same thing again. Let's drag a menu, an image element to drop it in here. Let's choose a different product right here. Let's go with the bracelet. Insert that one. Go back in here, drag the text editor, drop that in there. And then we'll repeat the same process down here as well. Choose an image, drop it in here. Let's go with the blazer, insert that one, make this full size. And then again, text editor, we'll just drop that in there. And then we'll just do the exact same thing for the final 2 columns. Drop an image in here. Let's go with the jeans maybe. Okay, let's do some jeans. Set that to full. And then finally, we'll drop the text editor in here. Okay, let's go ahead and update this. Now let's go back in here. Let's refresh the page. And now if I go to shop, ta-da, check that out. So again, you can get really creative with how or what you want to display using your mega menu. Now, if you wanted to customize the actual design of the text, the images, the background, what you would need to do is go to your Jet Elements, your Jet menu down here. And now when you click on it, you will have access to a wide variety of styles. Under general, for example, you have the animation, you have fade. You can go with move up or move down. We'll look at the new change very, very soon. You've got menu roll up. And then of course you got your styles where you can add a container background for the actual menu itself. But we're dealing with the sub menu. So I'll click on sub menu styles in here. Let's turn on the panel background for the sub menu. And we'll choose a background color of, let's go with black, I guess. Okay. And then we'll kind of scroll down. You have other options in here to like use an image. If you wanted to, you could use an image for your background, change the position, add box shadow. And then of course the typography as well. You could turn this one on. And then you could choose the font family, choose the font size, the weight, the transform, and so on. And then of course you've got the default states, the text color, for example. But let's go with pure white. You can go with red or whatever. You can change the item background. And also the same for the hover states and the active states as well. So in here you have access to a wide variety of styling options. Let's just go ahead and save this. And let's go back in here. Let's refresh. So we've made 3 changes. We added animation, we changed the background color, and then also the text. So let's look at the new animation. So now you can see it's a little bit different because it's like moving up. You can see it's moving up. And then in here right now, you can see the background. The background is now set to black. The text isn't white for some reason. Let's go back quickly and let me just take a look at what's going on in here. Default item text color. I'm not sure why the text color isn't in pure white. Must be something I probably did not tick around here. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time going over this because honestly, I could spend the next 30-40 minutes just walking you through the different kinds of menus that you can create with this plugin. And in fact, I'm actually thinking of creating a separate video specifically on how you can create mega menus with Elementor using this Jetmenu plugin. If you're interested, just put it in the comments section below. If I have enough people saying, hey, yeah, we want to see that tutorial, I will make a separate tutorial for you guys. But that's basically how you can create mega menus using the Jetmenu plugin. You can get really creative. Again, if I go to the back end and I go back to my menus, let me just quickly walk you through this very quickly. I'll go back to shop. Oh, in here as well, you have some other options like under settings, for example. You can change the mega menu position. You can add an icon if you want to. You can add badges and so on. Like, so many options available. But let's go to content, go back to edit mega menu, content. So basically in here, because you have access to the Elementor editor, you have access to a wide variety of different kinds of content. You can add headers, you can add buttons, videos, you can add your portfolio, post, animated headlines. Like, just imagine the incredible kinds of mega menus you can create with this plugin. Honestly, your mind or your creativity is basically your limitation when it comes to using this particular plugin for creating mega menus. But that's it for using the Jetmenu plugin. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Let's now move on to the very next plugin. Let's take a look at the very next plugin, and that's going to be the JetWoo Builder, with which you could build WooCommerce stores with Elementor Pro. Now, to be fair, Elementor Pro already does a fairly decent job of being able to build a WooCommerce store. However, the JetWoo Builder adds more functionality and more elements. So it's like a boost to Elementor Pro. You could also get it separately if you want for just $15, just like with the Jetmenu plugin. But let me show you how you could make use of this particular plugin. So let's go first of all to the back end. I do have the plugin installed already. Now, if I go to Elementor, you will see JetWoo Builder settings. If I click in there, in here is where you would see all the available elements or widgets with this plugin, and that is a lot. That is way more than Elementor Pro, and you could build really cool WooCommerce pages with this plugin. So let's see how it actually works. Now, let's go to the front page. I'm going to edit with Elementor, and I'll just walk you through the basic elements that comes with this plugin first of all. Let's scroll all the way down here, over here on the left. Let me close all of these. Okay, we've got the JetWoo Builder. So by default, you do have this 4 elements available for like regular pages. So you've got your products list, your products grid. So you could drag like the products list and just drop that in here. And then of course you could customize how you want to display this information. You've seen this many times before. I don't have to walk you through all the entire steps, but the real power of this plugin comes with its templates. So let's go to the back end. Let me just close this. Let's go to the back end. Now, if I go to WooCommerce, under WooCommerce, you will see JetWoo templates. You can click in there. And now over here, you can add a new template. Now, we do have 4 categories of templates. You've got the single, archive, category, and then shop. So depending on which template you choose, you will have different kinds of layouts. Let's go with shop as an example. So for shop right now, I've got 4 different layouts. Let's just set a name in here for shop 1, just as an example. And let's go with the very last template in here. Okay, so template 4, go ahead and create the template. And now it's when you're creating this template, that's when you start to see way more elements and more functionality. So let me go ahead and close all of this as usual. Close Jet Elements. Now on the JetWoo Builder, you can now see that we have access to more elements. That is because we're editing a template. If we chose to create a template for like the single page or the archive page, you will see different kinds of elements in here as well. So let's do this, all right? Just as an example, let me just show you some of the things you can do. Let me go ahead and close these elements. Let's use, what do we have in here? We do have a products grid. Okay, let's drop that in here. Let's go with the products grid as an example. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and extend this all the way to 15. And we'll make sure that we do have the full image size set in here. Okay, now on the product presets, you do have 10 of them. So depending on which preset you choose, it will change the way the products are displayed. So let's say with 5, for example, now 5, you only have the information displayed when you hover on the image of the product. So you could add like a very nice overlay to show the text when the image is being hovered over. That's for preset 5. Let's say preset 7. This one is a little bit different because now you can see that the information is displayed just beneath the image, and so on and so forth. So you've got different kinds of presets available. Let's just go with preset 5 for now. Let me close general, and then you could enable a carousel. So let's turn that on. Slice to scroll, let's go with 3. So now you'll have this carousel that moves automatically because it's set to, the autoplay is set to yes. So you can see right now it's moving. So we can just make some other changes. Let's go back to our elements. In here, you can add things like your product's ordering, your pagination, your result counts. Really, you have access to all these elements and you can display different kinds of information. Over here on the right, you've got your sidebar. So you could add customized elements or data in here if you're interested. Let me just go ahead and publish this just as an example. So we've published the template. Let's have a look. Note this is the template for the shopping page. Okay, so it's okay. It's just very, very basic. But now, how would you actually use this template, right? You will need to go back to your back end and then go to WooCommerce and then go to settings under WooCommerce. Now, over here, you will have access to the JetWoo Builder. You click in there. And then from here, you can now begin to choose the templates you've created either for the shop page, the single product, products archive, and so on. So we created the one for the shop page. So I'll go ahead now and enable the custom product shop page. And then I will choose my template, which is shop 1. Let's go over here and save our changes. And now if we go back to the front end, and now we go to the shopping page, now you can see that we're making use of the template we just created with the JetWoo plugin. One more thing to point out before I round this up is if you go to like your individual products. So let's say, for example, I went to WooCommerce. Let's go to, let's choose the Chica blouse as an example. So if I edited this product down here, over here, you will see that we now have access to the JetWoo Builder template settings. So if you've created a template specifically for your single product pages, you will be able to come in here and choose that template specifically for this particular product. You also got the template type. You can go with default or canvas, and then you can preview how that would actually look like on your front end. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out for you. You can create different kinds of single templates for your products and then use unique templates for each one of your products. So that's it for the JetWoo Builder plugin. Thank you for watching, and let's move on to the very next plugin. The next plugin we'll be taking a look at is going to be the Jet Product Gallery, with which you could display your products in a very cool manner. And in here right now, you can see a preview. We do have a very attractive model, and she's wearing like a white mini skirt and a blouse, and oh wow. Anyway, So back to what I was talking about. You could buy the plugin separately for $10 if you're interested. But let me show you how you could make use of this plugin. Let's go first of all to our back end. And what I want to do right now is to show you a very cool feature with this plugin. Now the plugin, it is active. Let me go to my all products. And let's go down to the cool blazer. We do have the ID of 135. We're going to need the ID in just a moment. But if I click on edit, right now, because the plugin is active, we now have access to a new section where we can add a video specifically to advertise this product. Now you could choose the source. Is it on YouTube? Is it on Vimeo? Or is it self-hosted? Mine's on YouTube and I do have the URL, so I'll go ahead and paste that right there. Let's go ahead and update this. Keep in mind the ID is 135. Let me close this. Let's go to our front end. All right, let's edit it with Elementor. And as always, I am going to close Basic, close Pro, close General, close Jet Elements, close the JetWoo Builder. And now we have access to the gallery, the Jet Product Gallery plugin. Let's scroll all the way down here. Let's use the gallery grid as an example. So the ID, we need 135. That's for the blazer. And there you go. So right now we do have 3 images from the gallery, but we also have the video. Now you could click to enable the gallery itself. And then you could enable the zoom feature, so people can now zoom in and take a closer look at what we have. Images, image size, let's set that to full, as always. Then for the gallery, you could customize this as much as you want. And then for the video itself, you could display the video either as part of the content or as a pop-up. And then you could change the aspect ratio, you could add a video height, you could set autoplay loop. I'm gonna go with the loop. And then you could choose an icon specifically for the video, but I'll leave this on video camera. That looks appropriate. Let's go ahead and update. And of course, we're going to take a look at how this looks like from the front end. Let's scroll down. And there you go. Okay. And then we got the video icon. You can click on it and the video starts to play. One Dapper Street. Yeah, it's a nice channel. All right, so that's how you can make use of the first element. Let's check out the other ones available and see what they do. Let me close this. All right, let's go. Let's just go all the way down here. All right, so you've got the gallery grid, you've got the gallery anchor navigation, which will display again your gallery in a different kind of style. So this one is more like kind of like an anchor. You have to click on the buttons for them to show. Again, for the images, make sure these are always set to full so that they're not blurred in any way. Okay, so yeah, it's maybe not my favorite element, to be honest, but we do have some other ones. There is one which I think is particularly creative, and that is the gallery modern. So you can drop that in here. So this will display your gallery in a very interesting fashion. Let's enable the gallery. Let's enable zoom. Images set to full. So this is what you get. Okay, now you're going to get the images displayed in different sizes, from different angles, and of course the video at the bottom. So you do have different ways of displaying your images for your particular product. So perhaps one of the best places where you can make use of this particular plugin would be on the single templates for your products. So you could display the galleries of your products in a very, very cool fashion, display videos, and so on. Okay, as usual, you'll have access to your styling, your advanced, and all the rest. So that's it for the Jet Product Gallery plugin. Let's move on to the very next plugin. Let's take a look at the final plugin, and that's going to be the Jet Compare and Wishlist plugin, with which you can create pages for your comparisons and wish lists. So before we go any further, let me just tell you that I have already created 2 blank pages. One is the compare page, you can see where they compare, and then one for wish lists. So I'll recommend you go ahead and create those 2 blank pages. Then once you're done, simply go to Elementor, and then you will see the Jet Compare Wish List settings. You click in there, And now these are my recommended settings for you. Make sure the compare button is set to on. Say for logged users is set to on as well. Choose your compare page, which is the blank page you've just created. And then for the products to compare, you can choose between 2 to 4 items. I'll go with 2 items. And then finally add the default compare button as well. Same thing with the wish list. Add the exact same settings and then choose your wish list page. Save. And now let's see how this actually works. Let me close this. Let's go to our front end. Let's refresh the page. And okay, so let's go to the shopping page. Now, this is exactly what your customers would see. They will see these 2 buttons right there, add to compare and then add to wish list. So let's add the Chica blouse to our wish list. And now you can see that turns to view wish list. Let's add the Chica jeans to our wish list as well. Let's add the cool sweater to our wish list. And let's add this pearl necklace to our wish list as well. And then for the comparison, let's compare these 2 bags, the Phoenix bag and the Porsche bag. So I'll add the Phoenix bag to compare and then add the Porsche bag to compare as well. Remember we set it to 2. So if I try adding another product to compare, it will say you can't add more products to compare. So let's go ahead now and view the compare page, which we'll have to edit. So let's go ahead now and edit with Elementor. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and hide the title. Let's go to settings, hide the title. Okay, now let's go to our elements. And as usual, you will now see the Jet compare wish list section. So we can, from here, we can simply just drag and drop the compare element in there. So these are the 2 elements, the 2 products right now. We have got the Phoenix bag and then the Porsche bag. And now in here, you can choose the data to compare. So we do have the remove button at the top. We've got the thumbnail. Okay. And now we have the title. So in here, you could select the title, which is already displaying. Cool. We can add another item now. Let's go with our price. Very, very important. Let's compare the price. Let's add the title right there. Price. Okay. Let's add another item. Let's go with weight. Weight as well. Let's add the text. Weight. And there you go. Okay, so you can add more items provided you have the necessary data. You can add the rating, the description, the stock status, SKU, and so on and so forth. You could also add the categories as well if you're interested. So basically, we've created our comparison page. So you can just go ahead now and update this page. All right, and let's go ahead and try to preview the page and see what the customer will see. So basically, when they click on view compare, let's go to the shopping page. Let's do it this way. Let's go to the shopping page first of all. Let's come down here. Okay, view compare. Now let's go to the page, and there you go. So now they can compare the title, the price, the weight. Okay, not too bad. And they can now decide to go ahead now and remove the products themselves. They can remove it, and right now it says you have no comparison lists, add products to the comparison. Now if they go back to the shopping page, they will now be able to add new items to the comparison page. So that's exactly how that works. Now for the wish list, let's go ahead and view the wish list page, and it's going to be very, very similar to the comparison page. Let's just go ahead now and edit with Elementor. Let's go ahead now and close the basic, the pro, general, and all right. So already we do have the element right here, which is the wish list. It's right there. It's already showing us exactly what we want to see. We could change the image size to full, number of columns set to 3. Let's set that to 2 instead, maybe. And of course, you can also modify the text there as well. You can add your ratings. If you want to check out the other elements, you do have the wishlist count button, the wishlist button as well. But these would look better on other pages. So for example, on the single template page for your products, you could add the wishlist button or maybe the compare button there. But specifically on the pages for the wishlist and comparison, it will make sense to be adding these buttons because the customers are looking at the products they've added either to the wish list or to the comparisons. So that's basically how this plugin works. I think it's a very, very fantastic plugin. It gives your customers the ability to add items to the wish list and then view all those items at once. But more importantly, it allows them to compare 2, 3, or even 4 products at the same time. So that's it for the Jet Compare and Wishlist plugin. So that's it. We've come to the end of this tutorial where I walked you through on how you can use several of the plugins available on Crocoblock to boost both the functionality and design of your Elementor website. We talked about most of the key plugins like the Jet Elements, the Jetmenu, and of course the JetWoo Builder plugin. But there are other plugins we didn't talk about as well. So if you're going to go for Crocoblock, feel free to check out the remaining plugins that they have available for you. And also on the pricing, if you go to the pricing page, you will see at a glance the different kinds of packages that they have available for you. So feel free to choose whichever package will suit your needs the best. Please keep in mind that I am an affiliate for Crocoblock, so if you're interested in helping me grow this channel and supporting me, please use my affiliate link in the description box below. My name is Alex. It's been a pleasure teaching you how to use several of the plugins with Crocoblock. If you like the video, of course, please like it, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and of course, share the video with anyone whom you feel might benefit from it. So that's it. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer them. My name is Alex once again, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.